Good day, everybody. Sue Johnson here, and you are there. Thanks for dropping in. This is for my knitting friends, this video. So I'm going to share some of the basics of knitting a yoke, and there's two main patterns I used as my reference. One is the Ranunculus. I love knitting that. I love all the stitching. I love that you never get bored. And also knitting the Caron Tee, which has a yoke, and in some respects I like it better because it's a little bit easier and you can vary either one any way you want. So that's one of the great likes, let's say, or the popularity of the Ranunculus and also this basic tee. So I'm going to show you how to do a yoke, and I'm going to show you my mistakes, like this one. I'll tell you why it's a mistake. This is a yoke. I'll tell you why it's a mistake later. So let's begin. What makes a yoke top-down pattern? Well, the thing is you don't have to knit all these pieces like a front and a back and then start sewing them all together. It's all one piece, no seam, and that's great, but it does fit differently. So with these yokes, you might add short rows. You don't have to. The Ranunculus calls for that. The pattern I knit with the Caron Tee, there are no short rows. So that makes it easier if you don't know how to do short rows. I know I didn't. I had to learn how to do that. I would suggest choosing a sweater that you love, that you know fits you, and take some measurements of the neck, the arm length, the yoke length, how long you want it to be, the measurement under your arm, how long you want that to be, the measure from under your arm down to, let's say, your hip, or ever how long you want it. So you take those measurements, and that gives you a good idea as to how to progress with your knitting. The increases on every fourth row will help you gain the circumference that you need for your sweater to fit. And as I mentioned, it's a good idea to try it on so that you can take note of your progress. So this one, my striped top, it's working well. In both the striped top and the purple, I love this cotton from Hobby Lobby. It's very soft, pliable cotton. It keeps its shape. It's very cozy. For me, it's like wearing a nice cozy blanket. So this striped one is working. I tried it on, as you can see, and it works. With the purple one, I forgot to do the increases. I got so enamored with the various stitches and style, I just forgot to increase. Here's a sample of a sweater that's a no yoke. It's a basic straight up cut style. This is a yoke that uses the raglan increases on the corners. It's always a good idea to take a sweater that you know fits, one that you really love, and then take all your measurements based on that sweater so that you can have your 10-inch yoke. You can figure out how wide you want your sweater to be, and you can measure from the underarm to the length of that sweater so that you know how long you're going to knit your sweater, and then measure your arm circumference. And that way you have a better idea of getting a fit and knowing where you're going to go with your knitting. When your yoke reaches 10 inches or your desired length that you want, and as I said, you measure your chest from the neck down to the length that you think you want it, then you divide for the sleeves. So I've used the Ranunculus chart as a way of figuring out how many stitches I need for my sleeves and also for the body of my work. So I've used size 1 on the chart. I've used size 3 on the chart. I haven't used any others. So, but once you gain some of the idea of the basics, you're knitting the yoke, you're doing your increases until you get the circumference that you need, and then you have to divide and separate the sleeves, put them on a thread or a stitch holder. I usually put them on a thread, and then you start working on the body. And when you do that, you're coming around the body, and when you get to the underarm, you add a few stitches. I generally add about 5 stitches, and then what I do is to fill in the gap. I will knit 2 stitches together on the second round, just to pull in that gap that happens to occur. So I'm checking my notes here. Some patterns ask for, let's say, 10 to 12 stitches to be added under the arm. And again, you have to do what you know works for you. I have measured the circumference of my arm, and sometimes I put the garment on and I slip it on just to make sure that my arm fits through okay, and that it's loose enough, depending on, sweater or, let's say, a top that I'm knitting. And so I know what number of stitches I need to add underneath the arm to make it work for me. At that point, you do what's they call vanilla knitting. You just keep knitting around and around and around until you get near the end, where you decide what kind of a hem you're going to put. Sometimes it's a rolled hem. Sometimes you just simply cast off and use a loose cast off stitching setting. And or you might do a ribbing, and there's various ribbing ideas that you can use. As I mentioned, you can measure the length of a sweater that you own and just measure from under the arm down, let's say, to your hip or your waist, depending on the length you want, or the length of that sweater that you like, that you wear. And that's your guide. Everything you knit can be used against that sweater as a guide. Once you've done that, you go back and you pick up the stitches on the arm, and then you start knitting at the arm. Sometimes I use double pointed needles and knitting around as I would for a sock or mittens. Sometimes I use the magic loop method and just knit in around that way. So you knit it down, and when you get more closer to the cuff of your sweater arm length, you might want to just decrease on the inside, sort of the inseam of the sweater, so that you can help narrow it in and shape it a little bit. And then you add your cuff, however you're going to do that cuff. Rolled edge. I do ribbing usually. Sometimes I do a very long ribbing because I like a long cuff. Sometimes I do a short one. So it's up to you. And now I'm having a heat up. Yes. What is new? So there are other ways to increase along the yoke. You can do what they call a raglan style, where you're marking, putting place markers on 4 spots, and then you're just gradually increasing that way. But this, what I've shared with you, is like the most basic, simple top down knit a yoke sweater. So if you've ever knit one or you're thinking about trying one, let me know. Share it in the comments, and I'd appreciate to hear from you.